The alarm blared through the USS Vigilance Command Center. Commander Eric Powell looked up from his screen, coffee cup halfway to his lips. The sound wasn't the standard alert tone. This was different. The high-priority distress signal they trained for but rarely heard. "Report," Powell ordered, setting down his cup. Lieutenant Chris Baker's fingers flew across his console. "Distress signal from Proxima Centauri B, sir. The colony is under attack." Powell straightened his uniform. Proxima Centauri B was humanity's first successful off-world colony, home to 15,000 civilians. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life. The message was broken, static cutting through every few words, but what came through was clear enough to chill everyone on the bridge. "This is Governor Alan Ward of New Hope Colony. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. Our defenses have been breached. The enemy has technology we've never seen before. They're taking people, not killing them, but taking them. Request immediate military assistance. I repeat, we need immediate." The message cut to static. "When did this come in?" Powell asked. 17 minutes ago, sir," Baker replied. "It traveled at light speed from Proxima Centauri." Powell nodded grimly. That meant the attack had happened 4 years ago. The message was only now reaching Earth. "Get me Admiral Wright. Now." Admiral Samantha Wright stood at the head of the Wayne emergency meeting table, her face grim as she looked at the assembled military leaders. At 62, she had helped build Earth's defense force from the ground up, but nothing had prepared her for this. "The situation is clear," she said. "New Hope Colony is under attack by an unknown alien species. This is what we've feared since we started reaching for the stars." General Kevin Mitchell leaned forward. "What forces do we have near Proxima Centauri?" "The USS Dauntless is the closest military vessel," replied Captain Lisa Reyes, sliding a datapad toward the center of the table. "But even at maximum speed, it would take 3 weeks to reach the colony." 3 weeks is too long," Wright said. "By then, whatever is happening will be over." "What about the new FTL drive?" asked Colonel Ben Howard. "The one being tested on the USS Defiant?" Wright nodded slowly. "It's experimental. The Defiant could reach Proxima Centauri in 4 days instead of 3 weeks. But the ship isn't ready for combat deployment." "It doesn't need to be ready for combat," Mitchell said. "It just needs to get a response team there." Admiral Wright walked to the wall display and entered her security code. A classified file appeared on the screen. "Project Vanguard." The room fell silent. "They're not ready either," Mitchell protested. "They're our only option," Wright replied. 12 specialists, the most dangerous warriors humanity has ever produced." She opened the file. Images of men and women appeared on the screen along with their service records, all heavily redacted. "These aren't just soldiers," Wright explained. "They're specialists in combat, survival, and adaptation. Each has skills that make them uniquely lethal." "Why them?" asked Colonel Howard. "Why not send regular special forces?" "Because we've never sent our warriors to the stars," Wright replied. "We've sent scientists, diplomats, engineers, colonists, peaceful representatives of humanity. But what we're facing now requires something different. It requires people who understand violence, who can think like predators." The room was quiet as the implications sank in. "Get them ready," Wright ordered. "They leave in 12 hours." Lieutenant Olivia Garcia was teaching her niece to ride a bike when her phone buzzed with a message. One glance at the screen and her smile faded. "What's wrong, Aunt Olivia?" her niece asked. Garcia knelt down and hugged the girl. "I have to go away for work, sweetie. But I'll be back." "Promise?" Garcia kissed the top of her head. "I promise." 30 minutes later, she was in a military transport heading to the launch facility, her go-bag packed with everything she would need. As the youngest member of Project Vanguard and their communications specialist, she had trained for this moment for 3 years. Captain Frank Murphy was pulled from his deep cover operation in minutes. One moment he was posing as a janitor in the office of a suspected terrorist cell. The next he was on a helicopter heading to the nearest military base. "Sorry to interrupt your vacation," said the officer who met him on the landing pad. Murphy grinned. Just getting bored anyway. What's the mission? The big one, the officer replied. The one they've been saving you for. Across the globe, the other 10 members of Project Vanguard received similar calls. Master Sergeant Daniel Edwards was training recruits at Fort Benning. Staff Sergeant Dylan Morris was on a hunting trip in Montana. Dr. Patrick Collins was giving a lecture at Stanford. One by one, they were collected and brought to the secure facility where the USS Defiant waited. The ship wasn't much to look at, a small, sleek corvette designed for speed rather than firepower. But in its heart was the experimental FTL drive that would get them to Proxima Centauri in 4 days instead of 3 weeks. The 12 warriors gathered in the ship's briefing room as Admiral Wright addressed them via secure video link. You all know why you're here, Wright said. Humanity's first colony is under attack by an unknown alien force. Your mission is simple. Reach New Hope Colony, assess the situation, and protect our people by any means necessary. Captain Heather Martinez, the team leader, stood at attention. What intel do we have on the enemy? Almost nothing, Wright admitted. The distress call was brief. We know they have advanced technology and they're taking colonists rather than killing them. Taking them where? Asked Lieutenant Ryan Cooper, the team's cyber warfare specialist. Unknown, Wright replied. Your job is to find out and stop it. Capture or kill? Martinez asked. Admiral Wright's expression hardened. Your primary objective is to save our people. How you do that is up to you. But remember, you're not just soldiers on a mission. You're humanity's first warriors among the stars. What you do will set the tone for all our future encounters with alien species. The 12 warriors exchanged glances. They understood what wasn't being said. They were being given permission to do what they did best, whatever it took to complete the mission. The Defiant launches in 60 minutes, Wright concluded. Godspeed and good hunting. As the video link ended, Martinez looked around at her team. Gear up, we've got colonists to save and aliens to meet. Sergeant Morris checked his sniper rifle and smiled. Let's show them what happens when you messy with humans. The USS Defiant broke orbit 20 minutes ahead of schedule. As the experimental FTL drive engaged, the ship disappeared in a flash of light, carrying humanity's most dangerous warriors toward humanity's first interstellar war. The USS Defiant cut through space faster than any human ship before it. Inside, the 12 warriors prepared for what awaited them at Proxima Centauri b. They had 4 days to plan, train, and become a team. Captain Heather Martinez called them to the ship's main conference room for their first briefing. The specialists sat around the table, sizing each other up. Some knew each other from past missions. Others were meeting for the first time. Let's get to know who we're working with, Martinez said. She stood at the head of the table, her posture perfect from years of military service. At 42, she had more combat experience than anyone else in the room. We need to know each other's strengths and weaknesses before we face whatever is waiting for us. Dr. Patrick Collins went first. With his glasses and neat appearance, he looked more like a college professor than a warrior. I'm the team's intelligence analyst and xenobiologist. My job is to understand the aliens, how they think, how they fight, what they want. He didn't mention his service record, which included more confirmed kills than anyone else on the team. Staff Sergeant Dylan Morris spoke next. Sniper, I hit things from very far away. He patted the case containing his custom rifle. Preferably, without them ever knowing I was there. The introductions continued around the table. Chief Melissa Reynolds was their weapons specialist, an expert in both human and alien technology. Lieutenant Ryan Cooper handled communications and cyber warfare. Sergeant Alicia Foster was their combat medic with field surgery experience. Master Sergeant Daniel Edwards specialized in psychological warfare and interrogation. Captain John Winters was the ship's pilot, a former fighter ace with nerves of steel. Lieutenant William Harrison led the assault team, specialists in close quarters combat. Lieutenant Olivia Garcia handled long-range communications and signal intelligence. Captain Frank Murphy was their demolitions expert. Specialist Nathan Brooks handled surveillance and infiltration. Now that we know who we are, Martinez said, let's talk about what we know of the enemy. Dr. Collins stood and activated the room's display screen. Not much, I'm afraid. The distress call mentioned advanced technology and abductions rather than outright killing. This suggests they want something from humans. Like what? Asked Harrison. Could be anything, Collins replied. Resources, scientific samples, slave labor. Until we get there, it's all guesswork. What about the colony itself? Reynolds asked. Martinez brought up a map of New Hope Colony. 15,000 civilians. Minimal military presence. Just a security force of about 50. The colony was established 8 years ago. It's largely self-sufficient with agriculture domes, water processing, plants and basic manufacturing. Not built for defense, Morris noted. No, Martinez agreed. It wasn't supposed to need defending. We've never encountered hostile alien life before. The ship's intercom suddenly crackled to life. Captain Martinez to the bridge, came Winters. Voice count, we have a situation. The team followed Martinez to the bridge where Winters sat at the pilot's controls. We've picked up something on long-range sensors, he explained. Another ship, on an intercept course. Show me, Martinez ordered. The main screen displayed a strange object moving through space. It wasn't like any ship they had seen before. It looked almost organic with curves and protrusions that resembled a sea creature, more than a spacecraft. Is it from the colony? Garcia asked. No, Winters said. Its trajectory suggests it came from deeper in the Proxima Centauri system. It's seen us, Cooper reported from the communication station. It's adjusted course directly toward us. Intercept in 43 minutes. Martinez turned to Collins. Thoughts? The xenobiologist studied the image. It could be a patrol ship. If these aliens attacked the colony, they might have left sentries to watch for response vessels from Earth. Options? Martinez asked the room. We could try to outrun it, Winters suggested. The Defiant is fast. Or we engage, Morris said. Test their capabilities before we reach the colony. Neither, Cooper interrupted. They're broadcasting something. Some kind of signal directed at us. As if on cue, several crew members grabbed their heads in pain. A high-pitched noise filled the ship, bypassing the speakers and somehow going straight into their minds. Neural interference, Collins gasped, also affected. They're trying to incapacitate us. But not everyone was suffering. Martinez noticed that Garcia, Morris, Edwards, and herself weren't feeling the effects. Some of us are immune, Sergeant Foster observed, also unaffected. She was already checking on those who were in pain. Interesting. Martinez made a quick decision. Foster helped those affected. Edwards, Cooper, figure out how to block that signal. Winters, evasive maneuvers. Let's try to lose them. Winters' hands flew over the controls. The Defiant banked hard, accelerating to speeds that would have crushed them without the ship's gravity compensators. The alien vessel pursued, but it couldn't match the Defiant's speed and agility. It's working, Winters reported after several tense minutes. We're pulling away. Meanwhile, Edwards and Cooper had rigged up a countermeasure using the ship's communications array. This should disrupt their signal, Cooper explained. It won't stop it completely, but it should reduce the effects. When they activated the countermeasure, those affected began to recover. Collins was the first back on his feet, though he looked pale. What did you feel? Martinez asked him. Fear, Collins said. Not my own fear. It was like something was pushing fear into my mind, trying to make me panicky, irrational. Mind control? Martinez asked. More like emotional manipulation, Collins replied. If they can affect our emotional states, they can control us indirectly. Edwards nodded. Classic psychological warfare. Break the enemy's will to fight before the battle even begins. But it didn't work on all of us, Garcia pointed out. Why? Different brain chemistry, maybe, Foster suggested. Or past psychological training. Martinez saw an opportunity. This is our first advantage. We know something about them now, and we know some of us are resistant to their primary weapon. The team gathered around the tactical display. The alien ship was now just a dot in the distance, unable to keep up with the Defiant. We need to prepare for this when we reach the colony, Martinez said. If they can affect minds, we need countermeasures for everyone. I have some ideas, Edwards said. techniques from counter-interrogation. Training might help. For the next several hours, those who were immune worked with those who weren't, teaching them mental techniques to resist the alien influence. They practiced until everyone could at least function through the induced fear. "It's not perfect," Edwards admitted, "but it's better than nothing." As the Defiant continued its journey toward Proxima Centauri b, the 12 warriors began to understand why they might be uniquely qualified to face this enemy. The very traits that made them dangerous on Earth, adaptability, resilience, and the capacity for controlled violence, might be their greatest assets among the stars. "These aliens rely on fear to control their enemies," Martinez told the team during their final briefing before arrival. "But there's one thing they need to learn about humans, especially humans like us." Morris checked his rifle and smiled. "We're what others fear." The Defiant entered the Proxima Centauri system 3 days later, running silent to avoid detection. Ahead of them, the blue-green world of humanity's first colony came into view, and orbiting it, dozens of the organic-looking alien ships. "There's our target," Martinez said quietly. "Let's show them what happens when they threaten humanity." The USS Defiant approached Proxima Centauri b with all stealth systems engaged. Captain Winters guided the ship through a daring maneuver, skimming close to the system's sun to mask their heat signature. The ship's hull creaked under the strain, but held firm. "Enemy ships haven't detected us," Cooper reported from his station. "Their attention seems focused on the planet." Martinez gathered the team for final preparations. "We'll drop to the surface in stealth pods. Land here, 5 kilometers from the main colony." She pointed to a wooded area on the map. "Then proceed on foot to avoid detection." The warriors checked their gear one last time. Each carried weapons suited to their specialty, plus standard combat armor modified to resist the aliens' mental attacks. Edwards had designed small devices that emitted a counter-frequency to disrupt the aliens' signals. "These might give us 20 minutes of protection," he explained as he handed them out. "Use them only when necessary." Martinez looked at her team. "Any questions?" Morris adjusted his sniper rifle. "Just one. When do we start shooting?" "When I give the order," Martinez replied firmly. "Our priority is the colonists. We need to find out what happened to them before we engage the enemy." 20 minutes later, 12 stealth pods detached from the Defiant and fell toward the planet's surface. The descent was rough but controlled. They landed within a half-kilometer of each other in the dense forest outside the colony. The air of Proxima Centauri b felt strange to them, slightly thicker than Earth's, with a sweet smell like cinnamon. The forests were not like Earth's either. The trees were shorter, with wide purple leaves that captured the red-tinged light of Proxima Centauri. Martinez organized them into 3 squads of 4. "Harrison, take your team and circle north. Morris, your team heads south. My team will go straight to the colony center. Report anything you see, but do not engage unless absolutely necessary." The teams moved out, advancing carefully through the alien forest. After an hour of tense hiking, Harrison's voice came through the comm units. "Captain, we've spotted movement ahead. Colony's Agricultural Dome 3. "What do you see?" Martinez asked. "Aliens. At least 12 of them. They're moving." "Colonists? Moving them where?" "Into some kind of organic-looking transport. The colonists are alive but not conscious, just walking like zombies." Martinez processed this information. "Stay hidden, observe and report." "Understood," Harrison replied. "Wait, one of the aliens just looked in our direction. I don't think it saw us, but it seems confused." Dr. Collins spoke up. "They might sense our presence, but not clearly. Our countermeasures must be working." Martinez's squad continued toward the colony center. The buildings were intact but eerily empty. No signs of battle damage or fighting. It was as if everyone had simply walked away from what they were doing. "It's too quiet," Garcia whispered. Suddenly, Foster pointed ahead. Movement. 3 tall figures emerged from behind a building. They were unlike anything the humans had seen before. The aliens stood nearly 7 feet tall, with slender bodies covered in an iridescent, insect-like exoskeleton. They had 4 arms and moved with unsettling grace. Their heads were elongated with large, multifaceted eyes that shimmered in the sunlight. Martinez signaled her team to freeze. The aliens paused, their strange heads turning slowly from side to side. They sense something, Collins whispered. But they can't see us. One of the aliens made a chittering sound. The others responded, and all 3 began moving toward the human squad. They're coming this way, Reynolds warned, raising her weapon. Hold, Martinez ordered. Let's see if they pass us by. The aliens continued forward, moving with purpose. Now, when they were just 20 meters away, one of them stopped and pointed directly at the hidden humans. They know we're here, Martinez said. Defensive positions. The squad spread out, taking cover behind buildings and debris. The aliens stopped, seeming confused by the humans' reaction. Then one reached up and touched a device on its neck. A high-pitched sound filled the air, and Martinez felt pressure building in her head. They're trying to control us, she warned. Activate Edward's devices. Each squad member pressed a button on their small countermeasure devices. The pressure eased slightly, but Martinez could still feel the alien presence pushing at the edges of her mind. It's not working as well as we hoped, Foster said through gritted teeth. The aliens chittered excitedly, moving closer. They seemed surprised that the humans weren't falling under their control. I think it's time to introduce ourselves, Martinez decided. She stood from cover, weapon raised. Now. Reynolds and Garcia also stood, weapons ready. The aliens froze, their faceted eyes reflecting the humans in hundreds of tiny images. For a moment, nothing moved. Then Martinez fired a warning shot into the ground near the lead alien's feet. The reaction was immediate and unexpected. The aliens recoiled not in fear, but in what looked like utter shock. They chittered frantically to each other, gesturing at the humans with all 4 arms. They're surprised we're fighting back, Collins observed. I don't think they're used to resistance. The lead alien reached for a device on its belt. Martinez didn't wait to see what it was. She fired again, hitting the alien in the upper arm. A greenish fluid sprayed from the wound, and the alien made a high-pitched wailing sound. The other 2 aliens immediately attacked, not with weapons, but with their minds. Even through the countermeasures, Martinez felt waves of pure terror washing over her. Images of her worst fears flashed before her eyes. She fought to maintain control, focusing on her training. Reynolds was the first to break free of the mental attack. She fired 3 precise shots, dropping 1 alien. Garcia followed, hitting the 3rd alien in the leg. The alien Martinez had wounded pulled out a crystal-like object and pointed it at them. A beam of pulsing energy shot out, missing Martinez by inches and melting the wall behind her. Take cover, she shouted. The firefight was brief but intense. When it ended, all 3 aliens lay dead or dying on the ground. Report status, Martinez ordered. I'm good, Reynolds replied, though she looked shaken. Same, Garcia said, checking her weapon. Martinez approached the wounded alien, which was still alive. Its chittering had become a low, constant sound like a moan. Collins knelt beside it, studying it with fascination. It's dying. Their bodies are actually quite fragile once you get past their mental defenses. Can you learn anything from it? Martinez asked. Collins took out a small device and held it near the alien's head. I'm recording its brain patterns. Might help us understand them better. The alien's chittering stopped abruptly. Its body convulsed once, then went still. It's dead, Collins confirmed. At that moment, Harrison's voice came through the comm. Captain, we've got a problem. Multiple aliens converging on our position. They know we're here. Same here, Morris reported from the southern approach, at least 20 hostiles moving toward the colony center. They look different from the ones we observed earlier, bigger with some kind of armor. Martinez looked at the dead aliens, then at her team. The element of surprise is gone. All teams, fall back to Rally Point Alpha. We need to regroup and plan our next move. As they retreated, Martinez couldn't help feeling they had crossed a line. Humanity had just engaged in its first interstellar battle. She didn't know if they could win against the aliens' superior numbers and technology. But her team had one advantage. The aliens clearly weren't expecting humans to fight back. They underestimated us, she told her squad as they moved quickly through the empty streets. That's their first mistake. Behind them, they could hear the sounds of many aliens in pursuit. The battle for New Hope Colony had begun. The three squads regrouped at Rally Point Alpha, an abandoned maintenance building near the edge of the colony. Martinez did a quick head count. Everyone had made it back, though Harrison's team had a close call with a large group of aliens. They're organizing search parties, Harrison reported, getting smarter by the minute. They adapt quickly, Collins added. I think they're learning from each encounter with us. Martinez frowned. How? We've only just arrived. Collins hesitated before answering. I have a theory. When we reached the colony's operations center, I saw something unusual. The whole building was covered in organic material like a giant nerve center. I think these aliens might be processing information from the colonists they've taken. Processing how? Foster asked. By extracting it directly from their brains, Collins said, taking their memories, their knowledge, their experiences. The team fell silent as they considered this possibility. That would explain how they're adapting so quickly to our tactics, Edwards said. They're learning about human warfare from the colonists. Martinez checked her weapon. Then we need to find out what happened to those colonists. Cooper, can you access the colony's systems from here? Cooper took out his portable computer. I can try, if the main systems are still online. While Cooper worked, the rest of the team secured the building and took turns watching for alien patrols. Morris set up his sniper position on the second floor, covering the main approach. Got something? Cooper announced after several minutes. I'm in the colony's database, pulling up population logs. The team gathered around his screen. Total colony population was 15,123 as of the last census, Cooper read. Current life signs detected within colony boundaries, 3,002. What happened to the other 12,000? Reynolds asked. Cooper continued searching. Found security. Footage from the initial attack, dated 4 years ago by Earth time. The screen showed grainy images of the aliens entering the colony. There was no resistance. The colonists simply froze in place as the aliens approached. Then they began walking in orderly lines toward waiting transport vessels. Mind control, Martinez said. They took them without firing a shot. But where? Garcia asked. And why leave 3,000 behind? Cooper pulled up a map of the colony with blinking dots representing life signs. The remaining colonists are being held in biological stasis pods on the far side of the settlement, near the landing field. We need to get those people out, Martinez decided. But first we need to understand what these aliens are doing. Brooks, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up. Captain, I've been monitoring their communications, not the content. I can't understand their language, but the patterns. There's been a significant increase in traffic between the ground forces and something in orbit. The Defiant? Martinez asked. Brooks shook his head. No, something much larger. Some kind of structure or ship that's growing bigger by the hour. Cooper quickly adjusted his computer to access the colony's long-range scanners. The screen showed a massive organic structure in orbit, easily 10 times the size of any of the alien ships they had seen so far. It's a hive ship, Collins said, studying the image. They're preparing to leave, taking the processed colonists with them. Leave for where? Garcia asked. Their homeworld, most likely, Collins replied, with all the knowledge they've extracted from our colonists. Martinez understood the implications immediately. If they bring that knowledge back to their homeworld, it would mean invasion, Edwards finished. They'd know everything about Earth's defenses, our technology, our weaknesses. Martinez made a quick decision. We need to split up. One team rescues the remaining colonists. Another team disrupts their processing center to stop them from extracting more information. And a third team finds a way to stop that hive ship from leaving. She looked at her warriors. Harrison, you'll lead the rescue team. Take Foster, Reynolds, and Brooks. Get those colonists to safety. Yes, ma'am, Harrison replied. Collins, Edwards, and I will target the processing center, Martinez continued. Cooper, you'll take Morris, Garcia, and Murphy. Your job is to find a way to stop that hive ship. Cooper looked surprised. How are we supposed to do that? I don't know, Martinez admitted. But if anyone can figure it out, it's you four. Morris can provide covering fire, Garcia can handle communications, and Murphy can blow things up. Murphy grinned. Sounds like my kind of mission. The teams prepared to move out. They redistributed supplies and ammunition, making sure each group had what they needed. One more thing, Martinez said. The aliens learn fast, but so do we. Collins analyzed the aliens we encountered. They communicate telepathically with each other. That's their strength, but it might also be their weakness. How so? Harrison asked. They share information instantly across their network, Martinez explained. But that means bad information would spread just as quickly. Edwards nodded. Understanding. Psychological warfare. We feed them false information, create confusion in their ranks. Exactly, Martinez said. Each team should try to capture at least one alien alive. Edwards has developed a method to implant false thoughts in their minds before releasing them back to their network. The teams moved out under cover of darkness. Harrison's rescue team headed toward the stasis pods, moving silently through the empty streets. Martinez's team made for the colony's operations center, now transformed into the aliens' processing hub. Cooper's team set off toward the colony's communications array, hoping to find a way to contact or disable the hive ship. Progress was slow. Alien patrols had increased, forcing the humans to take detours and hide frequently. The aliens were also using new tactics, setting traps and ambushes that showed they were learning from each encounter. Martinez's team reached the processing center first. The building was almost unrecognizable, covered in pulsing organic material that glowed with a soft blue light. Tendrils of the same material spread out into the surrounding buildings like roots. It's spreading, Collins observed, consuming the colony's infrastructure. They watched as a group of aliens led 6 colonists into the building. The humans walked with blank expressions, showing no resistance. Those people are still alive, Martinez said. We need to get them out. And destroy this place, Edwards added. They were about to move when Martinez's comm unit crackled to life. It was Harrison. Captain, we've reached the stasis pods, but we have a problem. There are hundreds of aliens here, more than we've seen before, and they're different. Bigger, more heavily armored. Can you still reach the colonists? Martinez asked. Negative. We need reinforcements. Before Martinez could respond, Cooper's voice came through. Captain, we've found something. The aliens are using the colony's main transmitter to communicate with the hive ship. But there's more. The ship is sending some kind of signal back to all the aliens on the ground. It's like the ship itself is alive. Some kind of central mind controlling everything. Martinez looked at Collins. Is that possible? The xenobiologist nodded slowly. A hive mind. One central intelligence controlling all the others. If we could disrupt that signal, we could break their coordination, Martinez finished. Cooper, can you jam that signal? Working on it now, Cooper replied. But I need time. Suddenly, an alarm blared across the colony. Red light pulsed from the processing center. They've detected us, Collins warned. Martinez watched as dozens of aliens poured out of the processing center, weapons ready. All teams go loud, she ordered. Cooper, you have 10 minutes to jam that signal. Harrison, hold your position. We're coming to you. As the aliens rushed toward them, Martinez raised her weapon. The time for stealth was over. The battle for New Hope Colony exploded across multiple fronts. Martinez and her team fought their way through waves of aliens, trying to reach Harrison's position. Edwards and Collins stayed behind, working to plant false information in the HFY alien network. We captured one, Collins reported over the comm. Implementing Edwards' plan now. Edwards had developed a method to feed false data directly into the alien's mind. It wasn't perfect, but it might create enough confusion to give the humans an advantage. Meanwhile, Cooper's team at the communications array worked frantically to jam the signal between the ground forces and the hive ship. Garcia kept lookout, while Murphy set explosive charges around the base of the array. If we can't jam it, we'll destroy it, Murphy said, setting the last charge. Morris had taken position on a nearby water tower, providing cover fire with his sniper rifle. Something's happening, he reported. The aliens are acting strange, moving erratically. Edward's plan is working, Cooper said. They're confused, but it won't last long. His fingers flew over his keyboard. I've almost got the jamming signal ready. Harrison's team was in the most danger. Surrounded by aliens at the stasis pods, they had formed a defensive perimeter and were holding off attacks from all sides. We can't reach the colonists, Harrison reported, his voice tense. Too many hostiles. Hold on, Martinez replied. We're almost there. She led her small team through the colony streets, fighting through alien patrols. The aliens were physically weaker than humans, but their mental attacks were getting stronger, adapting to the humans' countermeasures. They're learning, Collins warned, adjusting their frequencies to bypass our protection. Martinez felt it too, the increasing pressure in her mind, the whispers of fear trying to take hold. She pushed through it, focusing on her mission. Keep moving, she ordered. Back at the communications array, Cooper finally succeeded. Jamming signal active, he shouted. I've disrupted their connection to the hive ship. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All across the colony, aliens stumbled and chittered in confusion. Some dropped their weapons, others ran in circles. It's working, Garcia exclaimed. They can't coordinate without the hive mind. But the victory was short-lived. The massive hive ship in orbit began to descend toward the planet. They're coming down to re-establish direct control, Cooper realized. We don't have much time. Murphy activated his comm. Captain, we need a new plan. The ship is coming down and it's big enough to crush half the colony. Martinez and her team had finally reached Harrison's position. Together they fought through the confused aliens and reached the stasis pods. Inside each pod was a colonist, alive but unconscious, connected to alien technology. Foster, can we safely remove them? Martinez asked. The medic examined one of the pods. Yes, but it will take time. There are thousands of them. Time we don't have, Harrison said, pointing at the sky where the massive hive ship was now visible, descending slowly toward them. Martinez made a desperate decision. Cooper, can you access the hive ship's systems from your position? Negative. Cooper replied, in different technology, I can't hack it. Then we need to get up there, Martinez said. Murphy, how many explosive charges do you have left? 4 high-yield plasma charges, Murphy reported. Enough to take out a small building. Or a ship's control center, Martinez said. Cooper, we need a way up to that ship, Cooper thought quickly. The colony has maintenance shuttles at the south landing pad. If we can reach one, do it, Martinez ordered. Take Murphy, Morris, and Garcia. Get up to that ship and find a way to stop it. The rest of us will stay here and protect the colonists. Cooper's team raced toward the landing pad while Martinez organized the defense of the stasis pods. Foster began disconnecting colonists from the alien technology, one at a time. This will take hours, Foster said in frustration. Focus on the ones who seem least integrated, Martinez told her. We'll save as many as we can. Edwards and Collins rejoined them, bringing news. The processing center is still active, Collins reported. But we planted the false data. The aliens think humans have a superweapon, a device that can target their telepathic abilities across vast distances. Will they believe it? Martinez asked. They don't understand deception, Edwards explained. To them, information in their network is absolute truth. The idea that someone would deliberately feed them false data is beyond their comprehension. At the south landing pad, Cooper's team found a maintenance shuttle and managed to get it working. Morris and Garcia provided covering fire while Cooper and Murphy boarded the small craft. We're taking off, Cooper reported as the shuttle lifted from the pad, heading for the hive ship. The alien vessel was now less than a kilometer above the colony, its massive organic shape blocking out the sky. The shuttle looked tiny next to it, like a fly approaching an elephant. Find an entry point, Martinez instructed. Plant the charges at what looks like a control center, then get out. Understood, Cooper replied. The shuttle disappeared into a docking port on the underside of the hive ship. For several tense minutes there was no communication. Martinez and her team continued to defend the stasis pods, but the aliens were regrouping, adapting to the loss of their connection to the hive mind. "They're getting organized again," Harrison warned. Finally, Cooper's voice came through the comm. "We're inside. This place is incredible. It's like being inside a living organism. The walls pulse like they're breathing. Find the control." "Center," Martinez urged. "Working on it," Cooper replied. "Murphy's planning charges as we go. But there's something else. The ship is full of colonists. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They're connected to the ship somehow, like they're part of it." Martinez looked at Collins. "Can we save them?" The xenobiologist shook his head. "If they're fully integrated, removing them would kill them. They're too far gone." Cooper's voice came through again, excited now. "We found it. Some kind of central chamber. There's a large alien here different from the others. I think it's the Queen or leader. Plant the charges and get out," Martinez ordered. "Wait," Cooper said. "I have an idea. The false information Edwards planted about the superweapon. I can reinforce it here, make it look like we're activating the weapon. Now, do it," Martinez said. For several minutes there was silence. Then Cooper spoke again, his voice tense but triumphant. "It worked. The Queen is ordering a retreat. The ship is pulling back. They believe we're about to deploy a weapon that will destroy their entire species telepathically." Martinez watched in amazement as the massive hive ship began to rise, moving away from the colony. "Get back to the shuttle," she ordered. "Return to the surface." "Already on our way," Cooper replied. "The charges are set on timers. They'll blow in 20 minutes, crippling the ship but not destroying it." As the hive ship retreated from the planet, the aliens on the ground began to withdraw as well, returning to their smaller vessels. Within an hour, the skies above New Hope Colony were empty except for the maintenance shuttle returning with Cooper's team. Martinez gathered her warriors as the first colonists woke from their stasis. "We did it," Harrison said in disbelief. "We actually drove them off. Not with superior firepower," Martinez replied, "but with something uniquely human, deception. They never conceived that we would lie to them." Admiral Wright's voice suddenly came through on their long-range comm. "USS Defiant, this is Earth Command. Report status." Martinez took a deep breath. "Earth Command, this is Captain Martinez. New Hope Colony is secure. The alien threat has been neutralized, but they'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for us." "Understood, Captain," Wright replied. "What's your assessment of the situation?" Martinez looked at her team of warriors, tired, wounded, but undefeated. "My recommendation is that we establish a permanent military presence at all human colonies, and that we continue Project Vanguard. The galaxy is more dangerous than we thought. We need our warriors among the stars." As the sun rose over New Hope Colony, the 12 warriors began the long process of helping the colonists rebuild. They had saved humanity's first interstellar settlement, not through overwhelming force, but through uniquely human traits: adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to fight against impossible odds. The message had been sent across the stars. Humanity would not be easy prey. When threatened, they would dispatch their most dangerous warriors, and the galaxy would learn to fear them.